Welcome to this video. In today's video, we would see how we can create a table. So before we start creating a table, we have to keep the sequence or the syntax in mind. So right in front of you, right, you could see that this is a simple syntax where we are creating a single column for a table. Okay, so here is the syntax. Create table. So create is a command which says or which instructs this SQL server or SQL rather, or database that create something. So what? Create a table. Okay, so create a table. So SQL will understand, okay, so I have to create a table. So after that, you have to specify the table name. So SQL will understand that, okay, so table student phone is the name of that table. Once you are done with the table name, then you have to start with the parenthesis, and then you have to mention all the columns sequence wise. Okay, so for example, right now we have only adding one column to that table student, so I'm using the column name as phone number. Okay, so phone number is my column name. Once you mention the column name, you have to mention what data type that column should contain. Okay, so there are several data types which we would look in our future slides. But just to give you an idea that right now phone number is a number, so we are using an integer data type. There are several text data type, string data type, date data type, time data type. So there are several things which we would look in future. Okay, so once you mention the data type, then you have to mention the constraint. So there are several constants which we have seen in our previous videos. So accordingly, as per your requirement for that table, you have to update the constraint or you have to mention the constraint. So constraints again is just to change the default characteristics or properties of that particular table. Okay, so with this concept, let's start and let's move forward to understand what all data types are present in SQL Server. Okay, so I'll just move to next. So these are the string data type. So description, explanation, and maximum size are already mentioned. So you don't have to bother. I will attach this in the link. You can download this PPT from that particular link and you can just refer it in your future. Okay, so I will just walk you through it quickly. So we have char data type, varchar, text, nchar, nv, worker, n worker, sorry, next text by n text binary and var binary and image for string data type. Next we have numeric data type. These are the several data types what we can use in a database. Again, it's very useful that you should know what data type needs to be used for that column. Unnecessary storing or keeping memory for a table where you are not going to use that, it will make that database more heavy. So if you're creating a small database, it doesn't matter. But if you're creating a huge database, then that matters a lot. Okay, so just be very specific while you are choosing the data type. This is are the numeric data type. Now I'm going to move to the date and time data type. So these are the time and data type. Okay, so with this concept, let's start creating a table and then we would see how and we can do multiple columns and everything. Okay, so we'll just quickly move to the table. Okay, so fine, so I just took this example, so I don't want this. I will create it from scratch. So create table. Okay, so table name, it's always the best convention to type table as the prefix and then start with the table name. So table, I will just mention student detail. Okay, let's create a new table. Once you start with a parenthesis. So student ID is my first column, which would be integer. Okay, and we have seen that how we can use the constraint. So I will add student as ID as the primary key constraint. So constraint primary key name student ID. Okay, and I will just mention primary key. Okay, this is my primary key. Then I will just mention first name worker 50. Okay, and I will mention not null. Okay, and then last last name. Sorry for my typo. Last name again. I will just keep it 50, not null. Phone number integer. Okay, and then I can just have null value for phone number, but it should be unique constraint. Okay, and country. Okay, so country would be worker again 20. Okay, it should be not null and default. And yeah, okay, so once I do this, okay, so sorry, I missed the comma here. So once I do this, what it will happen, it will create a table student detail, and it will add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 column for that particular table with all those constants, not null, unique, default, all of the stuff. Correct. Now let's quickly create this. So once you do this, just execute. Say command is completed. Now if I just do select all from table student detail, right now we don't have any data, but we can check the schema for that table. So this is our first name, this is our last name, this is our phone number and country. So these are the columns which are present for the table student detail table. Okay, so with this we understand that how we can create a table, and in our next video we would see that how we can insert data into a table. Okay, thank you for watching this video.